The sky darkens, the ground trembles, and suddenly the prime evil himself returns. But this isn't just Diablo. This is his most powerful form, Diablo Clone. Want to know how to spawn Diablo Clone in D2R? Well, whether you're playing online or single player, this guide will walk you through every step, how to trigger the event, where to find him, and the best ways to take him down. By the end, you'll know exactly how to farm your Annihilus charm and never miss out on this rare event again. Diablo Clone, Uber Diablo, DClone, whatever you want to call him, he spawns when Stone of Jordan rings are sold to vendors. Now, for online, he'll spawn after 75 to 125 SOJ rings are sold to vendors in a particular region. So that means the Americas, Europe, Asia, that count is for that entire region. Now on single player, you just need to sell a single SOJ ring to a vendor in hell difficulty. So we'll start with the online process and then we'll go to single player after that. Psst, stick around to the end because you want to see me sell my one and only SOJ to get my first Anni charm for offline single player. So how can you possibly know when Diablo Clone will be able to be spawned? Now, the easiest way to do this is to join this awesome Discord community called D2R Clone Hunters. I'll pop the Discord invitation in the description, as well as you'll see it here on the screen. So once you join this Discord, the easiest thing to do is to come to this registration section and choose the type of notifications that you're looking for. Softcore ladder, softcore non-ladder, hardcore, and all the different settings here. This will help you get notified when the status changes on those different play modes. From there, after you registered, the two different places that I would recommend that you take a look are this announcements channel. This is where they post scheduled walks. Not all walks are going to be scheduled, but this is when you can plan ahead. And the most important one, though, is this live clone status. And this channel will have up-to-date live updates when the status changes as it moves through stages 1 through 6, preparing to walk Diablo Clone. So as you're looking at these updates, one of the biggest things you have to pay attention to are both the region, so in this case Asia, and then the other settings, softcore, ladder. Or up here we have softcore, non-ladder. This is how you know where to join a game to be able to get an Anni charm. So if you set up notifications on this channel, you'll start to get notified with updates as these statuses change it. And you'll notice a lot of times once there starts to be movement, it can go pretty quickly. So as soon as you get that notification that something's changed, you might want to jump online, reserve your game, create that hell game in the appropriate region and game type. Now, if you're not familiar with regions, what you can do is when you're launching Battle.net, you can actually decide which region you are that you're going to join and connect. And you can do that here with this little globe icon. If you click on this, it'll default to whatever region you've last played, in my case, Americas. And if you want to launch and join Battle.net for Asia, so for example, if Diablo Clone's going to walk on Asia, you change that there, hit play, and it'll connect you to Battle.net in the Asia region down here. Then when you create that game, assuming Diablo Clone will actually walk in that region, you'll then be able to spawn DClone, take him down, and get your Anni charm. Now, back in the olden days of the original Diablo 2, you had to worry about being on the exact server or specific IP address. You don't have to worry about that. DClone walks for an entire region, be it Americas, Europe, or Asia. So as long as you're on any game in hell difficulty, you're in the appropriate game type, Diablo Clone will walk for you. So now that you know how to be ready for him, let me show you how to kill him. All right, as enough Stones of Jordan are sold to vendors on your realm, so that means Americas, Europe, or Asia, terror will begin to spread throughout Sanctuary. And eventually, when enough are sold, Diablo Clone will be able to spawn in your game, as long as it's hell difficulty. And now Diablo has invaded Sanctuary. And so what that means is you can spawn DClone at any super unique spawn location that you haven't already done in that game. So for example, some common places to consider, Act 1, you could go to Stony Field and go to the Cairnstones, the entrance to Tristram, where Rakanishu is. Nice open area. It's a good place. Some people like to go to the Arcane Sanctuary, and you go take a step back and go into the kind of the cellars, the palace cellars, and there's a super unique location there. My personal favorite is going to Frigid Highlands and spawning them at the Eldritch location. Now, keep in mind that Magic Find has nothing to do with this at all. Player's difficulty, you obviously want to be on just a single solo player game, because otherwise you're just fighting a stronger Diablo clone. It doesn't make any sense either. So the biggest thing when you spawn them is you got to keep in mind that Diablo clone is just like regular Diablo, but he has a much bigger health pool, and the most important thing is that he heals, and he heals a lot. So you want to have a plan for preventing his healing. So the one that I recommend that works for any class is getting yourself a 3 open socket bow, putting the cheap Tirtal Am runes in there, and getting yourself an edge bow. So why is this important? Edge has prevent monster heal. All you have to do is hit DClone once with this, and then he won't heal anymore. So even if you don't have any attack rating, you can hit him at least 5% of the time. Just sit back, shoot him with the bow until you hit him once. After that, he won't heal anymore. So if you don't have prevent monster heal, the other ways of preventing it would be open wounds or something like poison damage. So continuous poison damage will get the job done as well. The prevent monster heal affix, that does not work from a mercenary, but open wounds or poison damage does. So we're going to go up here by where Eldritch normally would spawn. We're going to spawn DClone up here. And, well, he's got some buddies. So I'm going to take care of these first, and then we will take him down after shooting with the edge bow. So I'm just going to shoot him until he turns a color, indicating that I damaged him in some way. Might hit him first shot, or it might take a few shots, since many characters aren't going to have that attack rating to really... There we go. Alright, so you see him change colors. Clearly I damaged him. I'm going to come in here. Since I'm a sorceress, I'm going to use static to get his health way down. Now, he does do a lot more damage than regular DClone, so keep that in mind. Make sure you've got some really high stacked resistances, because almost all of his damage is either fire or lightning damage. Just stay out of what he's shooting as best you can, particularly if you're a caster. Sit back and whittle him down, since he can't heal anymore. And that's the biggest thing. Now, it is possible to out-damage the heal, but most characters aren't quite strong enough to do that. So it's just a lot easier if you prevent him from healing, and you can just take him down at your own pace. Doesn't take too long, but the more he stands still, the easier it is, and down he goes. And there we go. We've got our Nihilist Charm. So, best part, let's ID it and see what we get. 1029. Honestly, I prefer the resist usually to attributes, but that's pretty interesting rolls there. The minimum attributes, the max resist, and a solid 9 out of 10 for the experience gained. Get out there, prevent Diablo Clone from healing, take him down, and get your Anni charm. Alright, we are on single player. It's certainly simpler to spawn Diablo Clone on single player, but that doesn't mean that it's easy. What it takes is you selling one Stone of Jordan ring to a vendor, and then DClone will spawn. Obviously, getting your own SOJ in a single player game, not easy, but all of the other requirements and planning applies. So you need to be in a hell difficulty. Being a single player, you want to make sure you're on player's difficulty 1. There's no point in fighting them at any higher level player's difficulty. And you want to make sure that you are prepared and you're on a player that's strong enough to kill Diablo Clone, because you really only have that one shot. You can't join with a second character like you can on a Battle.net game. So here I am on my level 93 sorceress. I have my one SOJ ring that I got in my massive 1000 Andariel runs that I did to kind of gear up this character to start off single player. But I would gladly trade this SOJ ring for an Anni charm. Anni charms give you that +1 to skills, a bunch of attributes, you've got all res, and obviously that sweet experience bonus. So I'm all suited up and ready to go. I don't have my mercenary since he would normally get chunked anyways. I'm going to go over here to my buddy Larzik. And as painful as it is, I'm going to sell him my SOJ. Never seen this before. Let's see how this goes. Okay, we get the rumble. Diablo has invaded Sanctuary. An item has been sacrificed to the Lord of Terror. All right. We're going to head up here to Frigid Highlands, to my favorite spawn point. Spawn him at Eldritch and take him down. So I've got my trusty edge bow ready to go. There he is, DClone. Hopefully it won't take me too long to actually... Alright, that was pretty quick and easy. Hit him right away. I'm going to go up here as a sorceress. I'm going to hit him with some static. Take his health down to half. And then because I got Prevent Monster Feel, I can just take him down. Really hoping for a good roll here. Obviously, any Anni charm is still better than the benefits that you get out of an SOJ, you know, with just the plus to skills. And of course, you've got to sacrifice that ring slot while an Anni charm just sits in your inventory. So really excited to have this massive upgrade. And can also help with my leveling here. Alright, so there we go. Got the Anni charm. Let's see what we get. Alright, 12, 17, 7. Pretty average rolls. Not too shabby. I will take that. That is still a huge power spike. We get that all res. We've got the attributes. And obviously, the really sweet experience gained. Alright, so if you were lucky enough to get an SOJ to drop, I'd recommend you convert that thing over to an Anni charm. Just make sure that you're prepared. You've got everything ready to go. And best of luck on your rolls. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you found this video helpful and that you got some new tips and tricks to know when Diablo Clone will spawn and ways to easily take them down. If this was helpful, hit that like button. Jump in the comments and let me know if there's any tips or tricks that I missed. That, or just brag about the best Anni charm that you've ever gotten. Alright, get out there, kill DClone, get some Anni charms, and best of luck on your rolls. I'll see ya on the next one.
Farewell.